What up, guys? It's No Name 4505 right now, and yeah, I haven't made a video in a while. It's because I've been really busy, and then if you can tell, I'm kind of sick. Like, I have like 101 degree fever, feel pretty nauseous. But for some reason, I feel like making a video. I don't care about what's going on in school and all that shit. I want to make a fucking video. So, as the title's gonna say, I'm just gonna post my thoughts about the current tier changes because quite a few changes occurred. I'm on the thread right now that has all of them here. Sorry, it's just a bunch of text and it's not the most aesthetically appealing thing, but I don't really care enough to like go in and edit pictures for everything and do some like fancy editing and all that stuff. You get in the OG, just here's the thread, here's some text. I'll leave a thread down in the description if you want to read more. And then later on, I'm going to talk about some Metagrossite stuff about that suspect test. And then later on, you're going to get some videos about that. But let's talk about this first. So, yeah, first off, Celebi moved from UU to OU. I honestly don't see this lasting very well. I think Celebi could easily stay OU for the rest of ORAS, and then if they release like a Z version or Z, if you're not from Los America, but I could see it because Celebi was UU for part of Black and White, and then Celebi was really cool towards the end after like Excadrill and all that got banned because like it fit really well on those sand offense teams as the stall breaker to like break rain stall, and then because it got U-turn as well as like an offensive pivot for those sand teams, and then during the Keldeo era it was also really cool. Like it almost dropped and then it came back up because Tornadus T and Genesect were out of the tier, and Celebi was the only mon that checked Keldeo that didn't get Pursuit Shock by T-Tar. And this is essentially the same situation. So Celebi was like one of the like you see Starmie down here and then Jirachi as well. Celebi was like one of the plethora of like psychic types, or not plethora, but just a lot of the strong psychic types that Aegislash buff-looked. So it got moved down to UU. And honestly, I haven't seen it that much in UU. And then when Aegislash initially got banned, there was a little peak in usage. Like I know I used Celebi on a team when Aegislash got banned, like a Nasty Plot variant, like the offensive Nasty Plot set with I don't know, it's kind of a gimmicky team because it had like Salax, Skarm, I don't know. But I used it, and then I got to like I think 400 on the ladder with it. Like it wasn't even that good of a team, but it was like really fun. And then it just really wasn't that good. And then of course Greninja is the thing, and Greninja kind of is not Celebi's friend. You think for a water type is not. I mean, those are things that Celebi's supposed to check water types, but of course because of Protean, Greninja took a shit on Celebi. But now Celebi is here. So essentially, in this Mega Metagross meta, Celebi is really good, mainly because right now probably the best core in OU. And by the way, I'm going to speak a lot more on the OU ones and the ones in the others, but in this OU metagame right now, Mega Metagross plus Sub-CM Keldeo is probably the best core in the tier, and Celebi doesn't necessarily even beat it, but Celebi is like the only defensive pivot that can kind of deal with it, because of the fact, for the same reason why Celebi was really good in 5th gen, to help with those Keldeo cores, and that's because of Baton Pass. Celebi can't get Pursuit trapped by like Mega Metagross in this case, and also Celebi, like unlike the Lotties, it doesn't get worn down by Scald Burns because that's natural cure. And then also compared to the Lotties and what else would be like Clefable, like it doesn't get Finch is on, even though it says Bugsy, his Finch. But compared to those ones, Celebi has a lot more physical defense and doesn't get beat by Mega Metagross being a steel type to obviously beat the Lotties, and then Nash beats Clefable, or really any of the fairies that can help check Keldeo. And yeah, even though it does take some damage from Pursuit because of the fact that Celebi like isn't shit on the physically defensive side and it has Baton Pass, it's pretty good. And then I know a lot of teams, like I made a team with this with Nasty Plot support, like supporting like Scarf Keldeo, Drugalgy, the special variant of Altaria, which is actually not crap now, not that in the non-Mega Metagross meta. I mean, it was alright before, but it's actually like it's something that you have to think about. Like normally, if you were to use the special set, it would be like a surprise because people would expect the physical set, but now the special set I think is going to be more common in the non-Metagross meta. So I think that's why Celebi's gotten a lot of usage to move it up to OU, is that in the Metagross, and the Mega Metagross meta right now, has a very nice niche as a mon that doesn't get destroyed by Mega Metagross, and that can deal with Keldeo, which it's normally paired with. And also the fact that as a Nasty Pass supporter, it can, well, first of all, it can Nasty Plot itself up to be like not shit versus stall or really slow balance, and then it can Baton Pass it to like other team members so that they can help break through those slow balance teams and support its team in other ways than just being like a super niche mon. So that's why I think this has moved up. Mega Heracross. Well, this thing got OU because like post Aegislash meta, this was really strong because a lot of the fighting types, like Mega Medicham as well, just the fighting types, like those two mainly, definitely got, and then some psychic types as well, definitely got a lot of more free reign than they had pre-Aegislash ban. And I don't think bird spam was quite as common at the time as well, so it definitely got moved up. Especially because of bird spam, like if you carry like bulky Lando T or like Heatran or T-Tar, it's not the worst thing in the world to deal with. And then yeah, Mega Pinsir also started running close combat. So that was the big thing there, but now the metagame has shifted. I think also partially, well, first of all, there's Mega Metagross running Zen Headbutt like we talked about. And then also because of the fact that Mega Metagross is the best mon in OU right now. That's why it's being suspected. There's a huge rise in Lando Ts. So things are not looking good for Heracross, and even in the post metagame, like I said, there's probably going to be a lot more bird spam. I would think also fairy types are going to move up a lot. So just the current metagame is not too kind to Mega Heracross because of the fact that a lot of the new Megas not only kind of take a dump on Mega Heracross, but they're also really fast. And I know that Mega Heracross is normally like a wall breaker, but like, I don't know, like SD Mega Gallade, although it's not like quite as powerful, it's still really powerful. Like Mega Heracross is base 185, Mega Gallade is base 165, but Mega Gallade is like super fast. It's base 110. Yes, base 110. It ties with the Lotties, and Mega Heracross is base 75. So I honestly don't see this moving up in a post Mega Metagross metagame if that were to happen. Also, I just remembered that Action Bronson dropped a new single today, and it was really fucking good. Check it out. Action Bronson, was it Terry? Let me pull this up. Yeah, Terry, go check that shit out. That shit was fucking fire. Alright, next up, Armaldo, NU to PU. Armaldo, from what I know back from my NU days, Armaldo was one of those mons that was kind of mediocre, but it was good in the sense that it was a rapid spinner in NU, which rapid spinners and hazard removers in general are always very rare and precious commodities. I think that's the correct usage of the word, probably isn't. But they're always, I'll call them delectables in the NU tier because of the fact that they're just rare in the game in general. So the upper tiers usually take them for usage to help remove hazards. So Armaldo always had a niche with the fact that it got rapid spin and pretty much nothing else. It's kind of like Donphan in OU in 5th gen, or just Donphan in general. And then this generation is obviously Defog. And the main thing about that is that in NU, from what I understand, Armaldo, it has to compete with other rapid spinners. Like, it competed with Kabutops, but they just lost Kabutops, as you can probably see at this point, and I'll get to later. But it had to compete with Kabutops. It had to, and then it also has to compete with Mantine, which is the tier's most popular defogger. And it's just completely outclassed. Like, maybe it'll move back up to NU now that Kabutops is gone, but I kind of doubt it because Armaldo is pretty mediocre. Kind of always has been, in my opinion. But that's that. Like I said, Armaldo just outclassed at this point and just not getting enough usage. Like, maybe it'll climb back up to NU after with Kabutops gone, but I kind of doubt it, to be honest, because Mantine exists and there are many better stealth rockers like Mega Steelix. Maybe if Mega Steelix and Kabutops are gone, maybe Armaldo will. Again, this is all about just climbing back up to NU usage, not if it's actually a good thing. But alright, Pidgeot, RU to UU. I know that Pidgeot, I've used it in UU a couple times. It's pretty good. I don't know that much about RU. I know it was recently spec tested, but this is actually a usage increase, I believe. Maybe it's a ban, I don't know. I think it is actually, maybe, is it a usage increase? Hold on, do they have, I know they had Superior here. Yeah, Superior was BL2, which is the RU one, so that's the one between UU and RU. Yeah, that makes sense. That was a usage move. Like I said, Mega Pidgeot's really good because it's fast, it hits pretty hard, has pretty strong stabs, and pairing it with something like Dougie, or I know that like Mega Pidgeot plus Reuniclus is pretty good because I've used it successfully in UU, that core, and it's just all around, it's just that good stuff, so yeah, I think that's definitely, I don't remember if it got the boot or not from RU, but I know a lot of people were complaining that it was broken in RU, so it's good that it moved up from usage anyway, and it's definitely good in UU, so that's why it's getting the usage. Gligar, I think it's definitely good for RU. Well, it's kind of bad for RU because they lost one of their best rockers and probably their best defogger. Like, the only other defogger in RU that I know exists is like Golbat and like Skuntank, but I don't know if those are good or not. But Gligar was definitely their best defogger, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, Gligar is just such a good tank, and I know it definitely got a lot of UU usage because like the special defensive set is pretty good at taking on Hydreigon because it does not get too KO'd from the Draco because it is quite bulky, and it can defog, it can set up rocks, it can U-turn to maintain offensive momentum for, like balanced teams or more offensive teams. So it's a utility that can be used on not stall, or not like semi-stall, which is what makes it pretty good. And with some of these other threats moving, it's definitely good. Like I said, RU's gonna miss it, but at the same time, it's got to keep up with the threats, and Gligar is pretty good. It's probably where it belongs. Same thing like last gen. Gligar was definitely not too good for RU. It was definitely really good in RU, but in UU was pretty good as well. The only thing is that it does not have access to immunity because like you want it as a defogger, but Gligar's just gonna do its thing. Heliolisk dropping. I know that Jolteon dropped to RU, and Jolteon is essentially a better Heliolisk because it has less weaknesses, has more speed, doesn't quite have as good of a move pool, but still good enough. And really the only reason I use Heliolisk over Jolteon is for the move pool and for like dry skin, I guess, in RU, but that's essentially the only thing that I can think of. I don't play enough of the tier to really know how it's going to affect it. I guess NU really appreciates it because, it's water immunity, which is cool because I know Feraligatr is really good in the tier. It has Surf and Grass Knot, which is good for Mega Steelix. And I believe it was Case who used it on a Sun team with Solar Power, which is pretty cool. So I think it's going to be good. I think it's actually being suspect tested in NU right now, actually. So we'll see how that goes. But I don't know. Like I said, I just don't know enough about NU to determine if it's broken or not. Glalie, NU to RU. I believe Glalie was actually being suspected tested as well, but it got moved up. Like I said, Mega Glalie is really good as a spike setter. And the general rule about NU is that hazard stacking is usually pretty broken from my experience in playing, NU and some older generations. And I'm assuming that it's going to be kind of the same thing now. That even with Defog, there's, because it's such a rare move to use, and on like Pokemon, what's making that noise? I don't know. I swear there was like someone like knocking on my window or some shit, but because those moves are very difficult to find, the upper tiers generally steal them from NU. So as a hazard stacker, Glalie was good, and Glalie just hit really hard, especially with what's the ability called Refrigerate. So NU's probably glad that that monster is gone, and I'm sure RU appreciates the power that Glalie has, and it's probably really good. Don't see it going any higher. Mence OU to UU was BL before. We'll see what happens with some of the new ORAS introductions. If it's still too broken for UU, but regular Mence really still can't cut it in OU. In fact, the environment is probably more difficult now with like Mega Diancie and stuff around. And the only reason why I was OU in the first place was because of the usage that its Mega got, but Mega Man's just a little too broken. Manaphy moving from BL to OU. So it's finally got some OU usage, which is pretty cool. I know that Manaphy, I've used Manaphy kind of recently. And basically, normally you would use like Keldeo and stuff, which is why I'm kind of surprised. Like, the main reason why Manaphy is not getting that much usage is just that Keldeo just plain outclasses it, because it can hit special walls harder with Secret Sword, and it can boost up as well with Calm Mind, and it fares better against offense. But Manaphy generally fares better against like stall and stuff and balance. Basically, like slower teams where the base 100 speed isn't that bad for it. And I guess those teams, like after Mega Mence got banned, like those balance teams are pretty popular. So I guess that's why we're seeing more Manaphy, because of the fact that Tail Glow allows for Manaphy to wall break better. Like I said, it's a little unusual, and I don't know, maybe when Mega Metagross goes away that will change, but I really don't see it going away, because like offensive Manaphy still gets too good. I'm not even saying that Manaphy's a bad mon, but it's just that confuses me. Torkoal, NU to PU, same thing. Especially with Mantine in the tier, like it just has no place. I know it gets rocks and gets rapid spin, and rapid spinning, like I said, it's really cool, but Torkoal's always been kind of trash, and with Mantine in the tier and Mega Steelix and all that, just has no place. That's all there is to it. Torkoal's kind of trash. Sceptile RU to UU. Sceptile's Mega is really good because it's fast and it hits hard and all that. So it's probably good for RU, because I know Superior is a problem in RU, which it got banned from RU, I believe. Then Sceptile is probably going to be a problem as well. So, and I've seen a couple of people try it out, so it's probably cool. Terrakion, OU to UU. I do not know if this has been changed or not. I would assume it has, because Terrakion's kind of good. But yeah, Terrakion was just, I mean, considering how good it was in Black White 1, to see how far it's fallen so quickly, it's really unusual. But I mean, OU right now, I mean, Terrakion was one of those Pokemon that initially got hurt really bad by Aegislash existing, and then it moved back up with Aegislash gone. But really the only thing that Terrakion can do is like set hazards up, but with Mega Metagross around, with the fact that pretty much every team either is gonna outpace Terrakion if it's offense, or like Terrakion in general just doesn't fare up well versus like balanced teams, and like the high octane offense teams with like Mega Metagross or Mega Lopunny plus, or like balanced teams with like SD Gliscor and that type of stuff. Just Terrakion does not fare well. It doesn't fare too well, so that's not surprising. Like I said, I don't know off the top of my head if it's gone to BL or not, and we shall see. If it is BL, then that's probably where it's gonna stay. I don't see it going to. I don't see it getting back to OU usage unless it gets like Precipitous Blade or something like that, or there's some revelation in the metagame where like HP Ice Terrakion becomes good, or like I don't know, the metagame moves towards a more offensive direction and Terrakion's role as like a lead rocks user becomes like viable, like more viable. I don't know. But that's Terrakion. Alright, so Ponyard is a thing. I remember an NU Ponyard used to be really good because SD knockoff is fun times. But I guess times have changed. Maybe it'll get back to you. It seems like something that would get destroyed by Mega Steelix. But I don't know, maybe times will change. Diancie from UU to OU. That's a little surprising to me considering that Mega Metagross is the best mon in the tier, but Diancie is also a savage. Like, the rock polish sets are scary. I think more scary the Calm Mind sets because of their ability to break through like pretty much every team that isn't offense and I can't outspeed it. And Diancie's just that's a savage. Like OU Lures, it's a good thing that its Mega was already like out of UU. It's kind of sad for you because Diancie was like actually pretty good as like a rock setter, as like a troop room setter. It's kind of like a little tank because it was still like really bulky in UU. And like wasn't passive, like I guess carving. So it's a little bit of a shame for OU, but or not OU but UU, but that's not really too surprising that it's been moved back. It doesn't really change anything for me as a primarily OU player because I'd be able to use Mega Diancie anyway, and in OU there's not really that much of a reason to use normal Diancie that I can think of outside of like a Trick Room setter. Like I said, that's the only thing I can think of. Superior. It was already banned from RU because of BL2. Now it's in UU. Supposedly it's been moved out of UU, and in like a month they're gonna resuspect test it, which is pretty cool. I don't know how broken it would be in UU. Maybe it would be too broken, but yeah, actually it probably would be because like all the stuff that I could think of that might wall it, like it has HP Ice for it, and there's not really a reason to run HP Fire in UU. But I don't know. Superior is just, it's pretty good, but in OU I found it always to be kind of mediocre. Like I said, when it initially came out, well, I didn't see it like publicly, but I've always felt like UU, when it got contrary this generation, last generation that shit would have definitely been OU. Or if it was like the Blaze Black and Bull White one, that shit would have definitely been OU. But Superior now, I felt like UU was a good place for it, and maybe it's too broken, but I don't see it. Maybe it does get OU usage, but I personally I want Superior to be good because it's like the only cool mon from 5th gen, like in my opinion, besides Volcarona. But I don't know. And plus Contrary is such a cool ability because like only Spinda gets it, and Spinda is just, I don't know, it's disgusting. But like I said, I don't really feel like that changes anything because it moved from a ban list to the tier that it was already accessible in. Like I said, I feel like if I remember correctly, it's already been banned, so from UU. So Quagsire, RU to NU now. Kind of a shame because I remember and like early XY, like after Kangaskhan and Blaziken and Mega got banned, and Stall was really popular, Quagsire was really good because it got Unaware. And so like Quagsire is still good, but there's just too much power in the tier, I feel like, for Quagsire to be viable at the moment. Like the tier is just too offensive. And like you'd think that maybe it could be a Mega Metagross check, but the thing is that Bulky Waters really don't check it because it has Grass Knot that gets boosted by Tough Claws. And Mega Metagross has like base 110 special attack or something. So it gets bodied by that. And if I remember, it was RU last generation, but it got a lot of OU usage because of Unaware. And I think Quagsire is going to still get decent usage, but I don't think it's that good at OU right now. And RU's been really offensive lately, especially with Adaptability, Dragalge, Mega Pidgeot, and Superior being released. I believe all three of those are out of the tier now, but it made RU really offensive. And Quagsire as a mon, like generally, is really only viable on like borderline balanced teams. Like what I mean by borderline, I mean like your borderline semi-stall teams to like stall teams, just defensive teams in general. Verizon, it's kind of surprised me to see Verizon even fall down to RU because it was a decent OU and good UU mod last gen, and then since then like I haven't seen it. So like fairies and all that stuff probably hurt it really bad. And I guess just the RU tier being fatter and more offensive, like just power creep, I guess, is just hurt Verizon. But it's definitely a good mod. You know, it's got speed, movable ability to go mixed, physical special. I think that's definitely gonna be good in NU. Will it be suspect worthy? I don't know, probably not because it's not that powerful, but maybe, I don't know. Claydol, finally, Claydol is trash. And why it was even UU in 5th gen, I don't know. But Claydol is just one of those, it's one of those like new mons where on paper it looks good, but good players like really know that in practice Claydol is trash. Like I said, kind of the lower tier version of Donphan. Like outside of like 3rd gen ADV, I can't think of a tier where Claydol that it was in or it was even that good. Well, I guess 4th gen UU because of like Trick Room and stuff, but I don't know, I've just never been a fan of Claydol. And it's good for NU because they get another Rapid Spinner that's probably actually going to be good for the tier by that tier standards, because Claydol is fairly bulky, and even though it can't do shit, like by NU standards, it'll probably be good. So that's cool. Mawile, I know Sheer Force Mawile is actually pretty good right now. Like I've seen people use it in like UU and RU and stuff, but it's not really that surprising. It goes down to NU. Simply because of the fact that, you know, it's just like, it's Mawile. Like, Mawile before Gundam Mega was trash, and now that its Mega is banned to Ubers, it's gonna be trash again. I might actually do well in NU, because like I said, the Sheer Force set, now that it has the Fairy typing and Play Rough, I think it might do alright. I don't think it'll go down to PE, to be honest, but that's it. Raikou, moving from UU to OU. So it doesn't really surprise you if you play OU for quite some time, really since like XY, really. Like mid to late XY, Raikou's been one of those mons that's been secretly good. And then especially on if you play like tournament games, like Raikou's pretty good. But the good thing about Raikou is like it's kind of outclassed by Mega Manectric, but the thing is that you don't have to waste a Mega slot on it. So that's the thing, it does pretty much the same thing that Mega Manectric does, but worse. Which is why it was UU and Mega Manectric was OU, but you don't have to waste your Mega slot on it. So I haven't taken a look at the usage stats, but I wonder if Mega Manectric next drop will actually drop down. Because a lot of people have been going in favor of Raikou because you can have it hit harder with specs, have it be bulkier with AV, or have recovery with leftovers, but as just the electric type offensive pivot, Raikou is probably just a little bit better than Mega Man Electric right now, not because in a 1v1 battle it was better, because that's not true, but just the fact that you can put an item on Raikou and you don't have to use your Mega Slot. You can use your Mega Slot on something good, or not saying that Mega Man Electric's bad, but on one of those like really good Megas. Because Mega Man Electric as a Mega is kinda I mean, like, it's a good mod, but compared to, say, you can use your Mega Slot on like Mega Metagross or Mega Diancie or something, like, it's just really good. And then you can have a bond that does a similar role, not quite as good, but still well. And then you don't have to waste your Mega Slot on it. That's really good. Of course, the Bing thing, that's definitely a loss for UU, because they lost just a good electric pivot and then a good mod to like deal with special walls and stuff. I mean, UU is pretty offensive already. Like, there's enough mons to like threaten stall, but UU definitely is going to be hurt, because now they have to rely on like Jolteon and stuff, and Zapdos and Raikou in 5th gen were like UU staples, and they weren't even broken this gen, just OU used them a lot, and you know, that's that. Of course, Raikou's also a good bird check and stuff, so OU really doesn't care. Like I said, I'm surprised it got moved up now and it didn't get usage earlier, just from my observation, but I guess, you know, later's better than never. And yeah, that's that. So Kabutops NU to RU. Man, this video is long. Like, how long is this? Oh my god. I'm not gonna do suspect in this video. I'm just gonna make this one long thing. Discussion about February 2015 usage and tier changes. Alright, so Kabutops NU to RU. Again, big loss to NU because Kabutops was their premier spinner. And Kabutops is just really good. You know, it does have access to Stealth Rocks if you want it to, but SD sets, like with like SD Rapid Spin, was really good. Kind of like a baby Excadrill, except Kabutops is not a baby. Excadrill is a baby compared to Kabu, but that's besides the point. So I guess RU doesn't really care if it's getting enough usage. I know it did drop to NU. And like I said, I'm not too familiar with the tiers, so I don't know what changes are going on that would cause Kabutops to get more usage back. I've always felt like Kabutops was a really good mon and kind of confused why it dropped initially. Just because it's decently fast, has priority, hits pretty hard, and it's always been a pretty reliable spinner back when I played RU. The best RU team that I made, which won a couple of script tourneys, which were good challenges for me back when I was not that good. And got me to, oh my god, my voice is dying. And got me to #1 on the ladder twice, the only 2 times I've ever peaked in RU. I found it weird that the tier that I play the most in OU was actually the only tier, besides Ubers, but I never really played Ubers, that I've never peaked #1 in. I've peaked #1 in pretty much every single tier, but the tier that I specialize in, I've never peaked #1 on the ladder. It's something interesting that I just thought of. I don't know, maybe it's because all the other tier players are bad. Kappa. Yeah, Kabutops is definitely a mon that it kind of puzzled me initially when it dropped, but I know NU really liked it, so it's definitely going to be a big loss for NU. And what did they gain? They gained like Claydol, but I feel like Kabutops is better than Claydol, to be honest. Maybe that's just my personal bias, but I feel like this is NU players are probably going to be the most sad about this, especially because like Heliolisk might get banned, and they just got it, so yeah, NU players definitely are going to be sad about that, from what I understand. So definitely sucks for Kabutops, but I wish I could go into more detail about it, because like I said, Kabutops has always been pretty cool, and it was like my favorite mon in RU back when I still played it. That's my Netric. This was 5th gen, by the way. Like, I'm not invested enough in mods to play like many other tiers. besides like OU, and then I'll dabble into UU every now and then. But mainly I just steal teams from like DMT or something. But that's besides the point. Same with Musharna. This also puzzled me because when I played NU, Musharna was probably the best mon in 5th gen NU besides Scolipede and Jinx, but they both got the boot. So, yeah, Musharna, really good, just bulky as shit, pretty powerful once you boost up. Like, I know knockoff is a thing, but a lot of the powerful knockoff users are not in NU, and Cobra Berry exists. I know people recently, because I've been watching some of the SPL games, have innovated with barrier stored power Musharna to beat, like I said, to beat those mons. So that's really cool. Again, it just surprised me that it went down to PU usage because Musharna is really good. Bouffalant, PU to NU. A little surprising because Mega Steelix is, from what I've seen, kind of centralizing in the tier. So it's kind of surprising to see a normal type that's normally like banded. But I guess Bouffalant's pretty powerful and it has an EQ, so I don't know. Can't really say anything. Okay, so people are making noise outside, so I guess I should either be quiet or be louder. I don't know. Okay, but Scyther, same thing. But I guess it's just like knockoff and stuff. Scyther's pretty good. Pinsir, oh boy. Supposedly Pincerite's already been banned from the tier, which is good because Mega Pinsir and Yui would be savage. But this is just the effect of the Mega Metagross metagame. Really the Greninja metagame too, because like the metagame, in my opinion, just got too fast for Mega Pinsir to keep up. And initially it lost a ton of usage from Mega Ments, and then Greninja came along and then now Mega Metagross. So Mega Metagross not only kind of takes a dump on Pinsir, but the thing is that now with all like the Scarfed Lando T's and just Lando T in general, and all the mons that kind of stop Mega Pinsir, or that stop Mega Gross, they also kind of stop Mega Pinsir to an extent, which makes life for Mega Pinsir harder because it's not like you can carry both of them to weaken each other's counters. You can only carry one Mega. I know you can only carry one Mega, but you can only use it. And Metagross and Pinsir are both kind of trash if they're not Mega'd. So that's kind of to be expected. Kind of sad for Mega Pinsir considering that it was like top 20 in usage at one point in XY when Bird Spam was at its height, but now teams just have too much to deal with it, so it's kind of unfortunate. Rachi moved up to OU though. This has also been one of those things, kind of like Raikou, that's been coming for a while now. I think really since Aegislash got banned, Jirachi, I don't think Jirachi is ever going to get back to its old glory in 3rd through 5th gen, when it was in all 3 of those gens a top 5 mon, because of its versatility. Because I think nowadays Jirachi can't be quite as versatile. We can't see Jirachi run literally every set that you can think of nowadays. But I know the Subtoxic set used to be popular. Now the Special Defensive set and I don't think the Scarf set's that popular. I used it on a balanced team because I needed a Scarfer that could resist Steel type. Not resist Steel types, but resist Dragon moves. And I went with Jirachi just because I wanted U-turn over Heatran, essentially. Oh my god, I hate being sick, but yeah, now like the Wish set has been pretty cool. Because of the emergence of mons like Mega Altaria, Jirachi has been receiving a lot of usage. Like I said, more so as like a utility mon than as a thing, as like a more offensive mon. Because Jirachi could be a utility and do all that, but Jirachi was typically more offensively inclined, like Sub-CM, Wish CM. 2 of its more famous sets, Super Rachi, Scarfed Rachi, and 4th and 5th gen. But I don't think those are really viable right now, but the other sets and Subtoxic as well are both pretty solid in the OU metagame right now. And Jirachi is just pretty solid right now. It's definitely going to hurt UU a lot because Jirachi was a really good mon in that tier. A good dragon check because it can obviously resist with its steel typing. Had a lot of things that it could do. Like Scarf Jirachi was really good because it hit a really high benchmark for UU standards. Wish Jirachi was cool because it could pass things around with U-turn and pass its wishes to support more balanced teams. I don't know how the CM Jirachi sets work, but I would assume that because like all the threats in OU don't exist, that those sets were probably pretty good. But I never really saw many of the top EU players use them. But that's whatever. So that's definitely gonna hurt EU a lot. Like a lot of these changes, like Celebi, Raikou, I think Raikou, Jirachi, and Starmie, mainly Raikou and Jirachi the most, really hurt UU. Like if you're going for the biggest losers in this tier shift, I'd say UU's probably the biggest loser because the things that they got are they're too good. Like Heracross is really the only thing that's gonna stick around in UU from this current tier change, in my opinion, if it hasn't been moved already because I haven't really kept up with those things. And then they lost a lot of their top mons to OU because of the current metagame tier shifts that have definitely been beneficial to a lot of those mons that were previously OU, but then they dropped, and now the metagame has shifted in a way to where they are OU again. So yeah, there's that. And yeah, like I said, overall UU definitely just lost the most. I don't know, I think NU is probably like the second biggest loser because they lost Kabu, and then the stuff that they got, like the same reason, but UU lost a lot more, and they lost a lot more like crucial stuff, especially Jirachi. So definitely tough loss for UU, but OU definitely appreciates Jirachi a lot, and I think Jirachi is slightly underrated in the metagame at the moment. Oh my god, I'm like dying, but I'm gonna tough it out. Probopass. The nose is trash. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Probopass is fucking terrible. Okay, Aselgor. From what I know, like Aselgor's main role is stack hazards, and you probably misses that too. Well, not. It depends. I don't know. It depends on how you look at things. Like if you hated hazard stacking and you, then you probably disliked Aselgor. But if you liked it because it helps make the tier offensive, and a tier that's generally more like balanced. I don't know, it's usually pretty balanced until like CB Sock came along. Well, actually, I don't know, in 4th gen they had CB Entei. For some reason, Entei never got kicked out in NU, even though it has like CB Flare Blitz and extreme speed and stuff. But I don't know, but but yeah, I guess people in RU liked spike stacking with Aselgor, so it got moved up to RU. Don't know how long that's gonna last, but NU probably misses that a lot too. And then lastly on this list, Starmie's here. For some reason this wasn't in alphabetical order or grouped by tier change. They just posted the raw text, which is something that I definitely dislike. Antar got to step up your game, but it's whatever. Actually, I gotta ask Antar a couple of questions because he's the data miner for Smogon Stats, and I'm taking a data mining course, and I have to do a project about data mining IRL. And I know Pope's like isn't that IRL, but everyone's probably gonna do like Netflix or Twitter or some data mining like that, and no one's gonna see Smogon usage stats for data mining coming. So I'm gonna have to ask him like what his data algorithms are, even though he probably has the algorithms posted, and I know where to find the raw usage data that's used to compile that and how that data is interpreted. already, because I definitely like looking at that because interpreting data is fun. Compiling data is fun too. So I know where to find that. I just need to know like what is up. But I'm off topic here. So this is definitely a huge loss for UU because Starmie was probably their best rapid spinner. Who else would be? Well, I guess I had like Liger for default. They stole that from RU, which sucked for them. But yeah, Starmie was probably their best rapid spinner. They'll have to rely on like Donphan or stupid shit. But yeah, Starmie was cool. I liked Starmie and UU. I remember when like people were just figuring out how to use Starmie, and I was like one of the first people on the UU ladder to start like using the offensive analytics set, because all of them were like the defensive fat Starmies, or they were the T-Wave Starmie, you know, like all that. But I was the first person that I know of, probably wasn't, to start using the analytic one on the UU ladder, and it was good, you know. And you know, Starmie can hit hard, it has utility, but UU definitely appreciates it for a lot of the similar reasons that they appreciate Celebi, except that I definitely see Starmie staying OU because like the two main reasons why Starmie was not OU was number one, Aegislash. Again, Aegislash was a huge bone for like half the mons in UU that would probably be OU, or at least OU viable, otherwise that were not viable because the sword and the shield. But now that that's gone, and usually when things get banned, it takes 1 to 2. It usually takes not the first round, but the second or the third round afterwards when they do the tier changes for the usage over 3 months. It usually takes not like the first one, but the second one, or sometimes even the third one, to actually reflect the actual tier changes based on usage of that when that mon gets banned. That's just my observation. I know that the way I worded that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it makes sense in my head. And then Greninja is a thing. So like, really, you would only see like the defensive sets on like Sun teams to support them to get rid of rocks for like Zardwai and stuff. So that'd be like the only place you'd see Starmie, because Greninja existed. But with Greninja being banned as well, and then Starmie also being able to check Keldeo, spin hazards away for those types of teams, because rapid spinning is always cool because you don't have to remove the hazards that you set up as well. And then because Greninja's been banned, analytics Starmie is also really good. I definitely see Starmie like sticking around, and I think that, well, even then, Starmie can outspeed Mega Metagross and hit it really hard. So Starmie's definitely going to stay OU for the rest of this generation now that Greninja is banned. And there's a reason to use not just the defensive set, but also the offensive set. So you're definitely going to miss Starmie. But yeah, that's it. That's good for Starmie though, because if you don't know, Starmie and Gengar are the only two mons now with this tier change that have been OU for all 6 generations. And Starmie was a really good, like top 10 in all 5 generations. But because of all the things like these bulky fairies, Aegislash, Greninja, Starmie got moved. I mean, Gengar was able to stick with it, but Starmie got the boot down to UU, but now it can come back to the land of the overused, the land of glory, the land of power, the land of legends. But yeah, that's essentially it. If there's anything that you want me to talk about in more detail, because I kind of skimmed over some things. Like I spent like 10 minutes talking about Celebi and then didn't really talk that much about the other mons. That's probably because it was the first on the list. So when I looked at the list, I started like formulating my thoughts all about Celebi, but didn't go into that much detail about anything else. Or if there's some things that you disagree with, that you think that, you know, Kabutops was harmful to the NU metagame, for example, and the fact that RU got it via usage, so they didn't have to suspect and ban it, was better. That it was beneficial for any to get that out of the metagame, rather than harmful to lose their best spinner. Because I'm not too familiar with NU, if you disagree with me on that, or just want to extend the discussion on some things, because I can only sit here and ramble on and continue to kill my voice for so long. So if you want to continue the discussion in the comments, that's cool. Leave a like, share the video around on all your social media sites that you youngins use nowadays, because I definitely appreciate it, so things can grow. SPL matches, participate in them, but I have probably about 5 or 6 stockpiled up that I'm gonna get the video editing on and upload. And I use my laptop mic currently. That's the thing that's annoying, is that the only time I use my laptop is to take notes in class, because when I'm chilling I have a desktop. So the fact that I don't have a mic to use on the desktop is kind of annoying, which is one of the main reasons why I haven't been taking out the videos, because I have to use my laptop now if I want to record. So, there's a Patreon down in the description if you want to help fund me getting a new mic. Have a little bit of money that I'm gonna throw towards that, but I'm just stockpiling up right now. So any little bit that you can use to help out the fam is definitely appreciated. So yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now, because I'm dying, literally. Definitely was not on purpose, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed anyways. And this video is way too long. Why did I think I could do Mega Metagross suspect testing in this video, or just talking about it, not doing a live about it? But yeah, anyways, peace.